Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and if you clicked on this video, most likely is you're interested in learning how to braid your horse. Well, firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Hillary, and I am a professional horse stylist catering towards hunter horses. In this video, my goal is to teach you step by step on how to braid your horse from head to toe, or should I say from head to tail. Now, if you're interested in that, let's canter along. Now, first things first, you're going to want to make sure that you got all the essentials and all the things you need before stepping on that ladder. So, a ladder. We need a ladder. So make sure you have a ladder, whatever ladder you're most comfortable with. Doesn't have to be too tall. You're also going to need a sponge or a water spray. And you're going to need some yarn. This is the yarn that I use. It's Crafter's Big Secret. I get this at Hobby Lobby. You're also going to need a tail brush for when you do the horse's tail. Other things are like the headlamp. You're going to need one of those. You're going to need also a comb. I like to carry two, one for mane pulls and one for just regular braiding. You also want some scissors. You're going to want a latch hook. This is to tuck the hair in and pull the yarn when you do the button braids. And also, very important, a pull through. This one has a hole on both sides. And I put this little piece of yarn in it, so in case it falls in the stall and it gets mixed with the shavings, it's easier to find. It's happened before, so I learned my lesson. Those are very hard to find. They don't really sell them anywhere. And you're also gonna need a water bucket, or if you want to use a water spray, that works too. All right, and once you've gathered all those essentials, you are ready to start learning. Now let's get started. Now before I start, I'm going to put on this harness piece that I bought on TikTok Shop. It was recommended to me by other braiders, and shout out to them. So, I forgot how you do this. Let's do it the easy way. All right, so there we have it. This is the harness piece. It's gonna let me film more directly and give you a better view, a better angle, so you can learn easier. So you also wanna carry a fanny pack with all your tools in it and your yarn. So these are the basic colors. We got black, chestnut, brown, white, and gray. Okie dokie, so this is the horse we are about to braid. Just by looking at him, he is going to need a mane pull, a serious mane pull. Okay, so we're going to grab the lead rope and the halter. Look how cute. He's got a little unicorn in the stall. Unicorn plushie. Alright, so this is why I carry two combs. One is for regular braiding, and the other comb is for pulls because I don't want to ruin my good comb. I'll use this one instead. You want to leave the mane kind of like 4 to 5 inches from the crest. So I gotta take out all this. We're going to grab the ends, and then with the thinner side of the comb, we're going to push up. Then I like to wrap the hair around and pull like that. And I repeat the same process over and over until I see the hair getting shorter. You could also do it with your fingers like that, but I don't really like to do that because you can get some abrasions on your skin. Whoops. You don't want to hurt your fingers. So you got to be careful. Now this horse is being awfully good Some horses don't like to get mane pulls. I feel the hair thinning out, and when that is the case, you don't want to pull too much. Instead, you're going to trim the hair. So I'll continue the pull until I feel like it's time to trim. And it's pretty much the same process, but instead of pulling, you cut with your scissors. So here the hair is too thin. We don't want to pull, but we will do the same technique, but instead of pulling, we're going to cut in the angle, whichever angle you want. You just want to cut it diagonally, never straight, because then it will look blunt cut, and you don't want that. It's going to be harder for you to braid. All right, and there it is. It is all ready to braid. It's about 5 fingers. Perfect. Look at all this hair. Gross. Time to start braiding. I always start with the forelock. That way I don't forget it. It's okay. Alright, so the first thing is you're going to want to make sure that the forelock is wet, nice and damp. Then, this horse is a little spooky. You're going to comb through the hair to see if there's any knots. After, you're going to cut straight across a section of the hair. I'm trying to do this slowly so the horse doesn't get more spooked. And then here, I usually just get 3 even sections of hair. So I get 3 strands of hair, like that. And I do like a regular braid. I twist, and then I start grabbing hair from the sides, just small section of hair, and I incorporate it to the middle hair, and then I twist, and then I grab another section from the other side and I add it to the middle strand. Once there's no more hair to grab from either side, you just do a regular braid down. Then you add the yarn. You want to match the color of the horse's hair, in this case black. And then you do a knot at the end. You put all the extra hair to one side, and then you do one knot. Then here you're going to need to grab your pull through, and you're going to stick it in the middle of the braid all the way down, and it has to come through the middle. Then you put it inside, you tuck it in, you wrap the extra hairs around the braid or the yarn, and you pull, and voila. Then we go one yarn, and we do the same to the other side. And then we cut. Okay, so now we're gonna start doing the braid down on this horse. We're gonna wanna wet the hair, make sure it's damp as well. Okay, so after wetting the mane, you're gonna wanna start by creating 2 to 4 inch sections of hair. Then divide the section into 3 even parts and begin a standard 3-strand braid. Braid tightly, keep your thumb on top to maintain the tension. The first few twists are the most crucial into getting perfect button braids. You're going to want to make sure that you are starting the braid right at the crest. Make sure you're not pulling too strongly on one side. You're going to want to make sure that you're pulling evenly on both sides to create that perfect braid down. You're going to want to remember to keep the left hand the one that's holding most of the pressure on the braid. You want it to be touching the horse's neck at all times. Keep the tension pulling downwards and not up to ensure that the braid will lay flat down on the horse's neck. About 1/4 on the way down, lay a piece of yarn across the strands and incorporate into the braid. Continue to braid down till the end. And to secure the braid, we just end the braid with a single knot, like so. This will make sure that the braids are nice and tight and not unravel. Another important step is to make sure that you tie the knot evenly throughout the whole mane. This will come in handy later. On average, a horse will get 40 to 50 braids, taking roughly an hour to complete. Braiding horses definitely takes a lot of skills. You don't want to feel discouraged if you can't get it on the first try. Just keep practicing. Don't forget to keep your horse's hair nice and damp. If you need to wet it again, go ahead and do so. If the horse's hair is a bit slippery or it's too clean and hard to get a grip on, you can also consider getting some quick braid spray. That always helps. Or also you can get yourself a styling powder. I'll leave a picture up here for you guys to see which one I currently use. I typically won't use any additives unless I really have to. You want to make sure that all the braids are the same size, width, and height along the neck to create that uniform look that you're looking for. If the horse you're braiding is wearing a blanket, you're going to want to look under there and check to see if there is any hair to braid. The last hair on the horse's neck is usually the most difficult to braid because it is the shortest of all the hair. And what I'll usually do, and that works for me, is I'll just incorporate the yarn much sooner or as soon as I have to. So now, after the horse is all braided down, we cut the yarn a little bit shorter. And for that, we just take our scissors and we just snip to the desired length that we want. Remember, we don't want it too short, but we also don't want it too long. And this is where we take out our handy dandy latch hook. So we stick it in the middle here. We tuck the yarn in and then we close the hook and we hold on to this little strand of hair at the end here. We pull slowly and then we gotta make sure the knot enters slowly. You don't want it to go past a certain point because then it's just going to stick out. So here I'm just prepping the braids. I'm using the latch hook to just pull through that yarn and having it ready for me to start rolling up the braid. Up next, I'm just pulling up these braids, getting it ready for when I start rolling the braid into a button ball and I start doing the knots. Once you're done pulling the yarn through the base, you want to crisscross the yarn and make a single knot at the bottom of the braid. Make sure it's centered. Here is where I hide hair. I tuck in any extra hair in the middle on the inside of the braid, and then I do a double knot at the top. a single knot at the bottom, then I repeat another double knot at the top, and then 2 double knots at the bottom. And I always make sure that I am pulling tightly. This will always help secure the braids in place, and just in case the horse wants to roll around the stall or starts to scratch against the wall, it'll at least give the braids a fighting chance. So one more time, you start by crisscrossing the yarn, doing 1 single knot at the bottom centered, then we tuck any extra hairs in the middle in between the braid, then we do a double knot at the top, then we do a single knot at the bottom, then we do another double knot at the top, and then we finish off with 2 double knots or single knots at the bottom. Now when tying the braids up, you want to make sure that you do the knots downwards, pushing instead of pulling away. That way you don't accidentally lift the braids. As for the last step, my favorite step, you take out your scissors again and you start snipping away all that yarn from one side and the other. And voila, look at your masterpiece. Beautiful Picasso. Up next, we have to braid the tail. And for this one, you're going to need a fake tail and a tail wrap. If the horse is wearing a blanket, I start by pulling the blanket away from the tail, and then I start brushing the tail to get rid of all those shavings and any knots if it has any. Then you take your fake tail and you want to put it aside from the real tail and try to match it in the length, because you want it to match lengthwise, and then you start incorporating it into the tailbone as close as possible, and you use a comb to push any hair out the way. And here you do a little French braid to hold the tail in place. And then I add 2 pieces of yarn and I continue to braid furthermore down. And once I'm done, I do 2 double knots. 1, 2. Then I grab the yarns and I wrap it around the fake tail. Then I do 3 double knots, just for security reasons. And we cut. Then we grab our sponge and we wet the horse's hair generously. We then grab 2 yarns and center it in the tail. Then we grab 1 hair on each side and we twist the first twist, adding 1 yarn to one side, and then we twist another hair and add the second piece of yarn. And we continue to twist while adding hair from each side of the horse's tail. To add hair from each side, before each cross, pick up a small thin section of hair from one side and then join it with the strand you are about to cross over in the middle. Use your thumb to apply pressure in the middle of the braid and prevent it from sagging. Always keep an eye on the braid to make sure that it's centered. And keep the pressure throughout the whole braid. Remember, if necessary, add as much water as possible. The wetter the hair is, the better the braid will turn out. Once you reach the end of the tailbone, you start doing a regular 3-strand braid. On your left side, I'm doing a regular wraparound braid, and on your right side, I'm doing the famous pinwheel braid. They are both super cute. I definitely love the pinwheel more. I feel like it gives it that elegant touch. We add 2 yarns on both techniques. We incorporate it to the braid, and we do 2 double knots to secure it very well. The left braid, we wrap it around the tailbone, And the right braid, we start rolling up the braid without losing any pressure. We want to keep it nice and tight while rolling up. Once we have that done, we start doing the knots. And there you have it, you guys. This is how I do the French braid hunter horse tails using the pinwheel method or the wrap method, whichever the client prefers. That's what I'll do. Once that's done, I just add security knots at the top of the braid just to hold everything in place. And all finito. Beautiful, gorgeous. This one's a stunner. And now we have to wrap the tail to prevent any damage so it doesn't get caught on any hooks or it doesn't unravel, or for the horse not to step on its fake tail and rip the whole tail off. Listo. All done. Good job, guys. And all right, you guys, there you have it. And that's the wrap for this video. If you learned anything new, please leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the notification bell and leave a comment down below if you have any other questions. I will continue to record more videos for you when I'm working if you would like to see more of that. All right, you guys, so I just want to say thank you again so much for the support, and I wish you guys a great weekend, and I hope I get to see you again for the next one. Ciao! Bye for now.